Hey animators, welcome back to another Animation is Hard Monday, and I wanted to show you my biped walk and run cycle today. And this animation was done in the first semester of my sophomore year, so we're moving along pretty quickly here through these animations. And there's a whole lot to talk about. So not so much in the actual animation itself, but life in general. So different schools have different programs and orders for things. I went to Ringling College of Art and Design, and so traditional animation 2 is the class where I did this animation, and that came after the first summer break. So in my last video, I showed you my first original character, the biped motion, and I actually found my grades for that the other day, and it was pretty alarming. Like, it definitely spoke to the fact that by the end of the year, I was so frazzled and in over my head. And so as you saw my character turnarounds and all that, but there was actually an animation that was supposed to go with it, and I never even saved it. Yeah, so basically, I had made it to the end of the year, barely with my head still on my body. Like I did the animation and I made it through. I got just barely passing grade. I didn't submit things quite properly, and I didn't save them for myself properly either. But after that was done, I was done with the year. And so in my summer vacation, I actually traveled to Singapore for a month with somebody who I met in college, and she became my best friend, and we became roommates in my sophomore year as well. And so I traveled and I spent a month there, and that was like my big recuperation. Like, not only was I experiencing something new, but all I had to do was live and exist and explore, and it was so important that I did that. And okay, so back to the important stuff. So what I did was I actually took a break, and I needed it. A lot of people think that you should be working over the summer, putting together a portfolio, getting your shit together basically to start applying to internships. And really, if you were stressed out, honestly, take a break. I cannot tell you enough. Let yourself have the break, no matter what anybody else says. If you need it, take it. Because when I came back, I actually had my head on my shoulders. I was in a much better place. I felt stable in my relationships at home. Over the summer, I met the person who would soon become my husband, and so I was in a good relationship. And I had more support than I did the previous year, just in general. Where the first year in college, for a lot of people, they feel this way, and especially when the program you're in is so demanding, you can feel very alone being surrounded by a lot of people. And that was definitely the case for me. And it's not surprising, because even though you have bodies to the left and bodies to the right of you who are, smiling, talking, engaging, being present, they are also so focused as you are on what you need to accomplish to just make it through, that the connection isn't always going to be present. I mean, a lot of times you can connect with people, but it becomes more difficult when you're in a situation like this. So don't be surprised if you feel alone when you are surrounded by a lot of people. And then also, when you come to your first summer break after that first year, don't go crazy. Don't stress yourself out. Don't make extra projects or try to redo your last ones. If anything, what I would recommend to do over the summer is to take a good break, take at least a month where you don't do things that trigger any stress level. Like, try as much as you can to reduce your stress and clear your mind and get back in touch with the things that are important to you in your life. And then what I would do, if you feel confident that you have completed that to some extent, is I would look at your grades and reread them and see if maybe there was something that you missed in the haze of going through everything you were going through at the time, and see if something doesn't make sense. I know your teachers are willing to contact you over the summer, so you can always email them and ask them, and they're just amazing like that. And also, for me, some of the stuff that I was seeing in my grades that I didn't see at the time was apparently I was coming across as if I didn't quite care about what was being said in the critiques. For example, I can't give you the exact wording on it, but just basically saying, like, I hope you took notes during the critique, where I was taking detailed notes. I was completely, every word that my teachers ever said, I idolized and definitely put maybe too much emphasis on it. But I was still struggling with some of the things being first introduced to this art form. My issue with using reference footage, thinking that was cheating and essentially not using it. That was something that I wasn't aware of in that first year. I needed time to actually give myself space in between the idea and allow it to sink in. And then other things, essentially just the flood of new information, you actually need to let that settle. Even if you think like, okay, I got this, I'm ready, I need to keep pushing through, just let it rest, and your brain will actually do work for you even as you rest. If you know anything about exercise at all, you know that you exercise your muscles and you need a day where you can give those muscles time to rest and build. And so actually, in not doing something, sometimes you can grow, if that's what you need to do. Because otherwise, what you could do is move forward and push what you think is important at the time, when maybe that's not what you need to focus on. So what happened after I took my break, I came back to college. I was an orientation leader for the incoming group of freshmen, so I was a sophomore, and I went back to college early so that I could be on campus and get a head start. To get to the actual animation part of it, so this character that I created was basically supposed to be, I forget the word for it, but I found a YouTuber and she had a lot of personality, and so I kind of ended up going in the stereotypical direction again. So the first time my original character was an emo raccoon, and then this time I was drawn to something that was also kind of just already a stereotype. And I mean, I have to be honest, I was a pretty sheltered kid, so going to college straight out of high school, I mean, I met a lot of varying personality types, and it's not like I was um, trying to group or generalize people by creating these characters, but I was just drawn to new things. So again, there's that concept of original ideas and things that are new to you, and how much do you actually know about them. And in this case, it worked out for me because the character, I liked the personality of the character I created. She was kind of just, a confident, like snap her finger type of, shake her head, have some attitude and confidence, and don't care what nobody says type of girl. And that's kind of what I needed at the time. So this character, although stereotypical, was a good character for me to use for this project because, for one, it was a human. And by creating a hybrid of an animal and a human, for the first project, I actually made it more complex because I still wasn't using reference footage very well, and I had to incorporate characteristics of an animal, extra overlap and drag elements, different accessories, or, tails, ears, things that flop and move and have secondary motion. And so by doing a character that was close to something from the reference footage, which it wasn't intentional that I chose to do this, but it worked well. So that's why I want to share it with you. And then the second thing that really benefited me when I did this animation was I had somebody else do my reference footage. And the reason that this other person did my footage was because she had this type of personality. Like, this was her thing. She could do it best. So I went directly to her. It wasn't because of my own blocks using reference footage, but if you are suspicious that you might have blocks using reference footage, and I will be able to tell if you show me your reference footage, I can tell you if it's a good idea to go elsewhere. Otherwise, if you question it, just try it, because there's nothing really to lose. But go to somebody who has the confidence to do reference footage and do it well. And I was able to get really good material out of this, and it actually encouraged me to do the process that was described the first time around, and use the thumbnails of the reference footage, so the key poses. And this time I actually got a result that I was happy with, although for, about up until now, I wasn't proud of this animation because of using the reference footage, but by acknowledging my blocks around copying work, where rotoscoping kind of seems like copying, even though in this case I wasn't rotoscoping, I was using it literally as reference, as in looking like 2 frames ahead and what the leg did versus what the arm did versus what the boobs did, and you can see that it made a difference because it actually was a little bit more believable, although in the walking one, my character does not come to a full stop, like a rest, and I think this was because I was following the reference footage pretty closely, and that's when my video ended, and I couldn't piece together what would happen afterwards. I just kind of quit. So, yeah. just take all these things in mind, keep them in mind when you're doing your animation. Thank you for watching this video. I know it's mostly just me talking very casually, and you're watching me the whole time, so I appreciate you staying tuned. And I am going to try to make these videos more pleasant to watch. So if you have any suggestions for me, please leave them below. If you care if I do my hair, if you don't want it wet, like honestly, I'll change that for you guys. But I just like being myself and just talking to you. So if you like that too, let me know. And thank you for watching. Please hit the bell if you like seeing these videos every Monday. I do have some more videos to upload during this week, so it won't be the only one. But I really appreciate all you guys watching. Animators out there, it is so hard. If you are struggling with anything, please reach out to me, and I would be more than happy to talk to you. You can leave a comment or go to my website, and I do have a contact form on the bottom of the page that says work with me. So just let me know what you're going through, and I love helping you guys. So thank you for letting me do that, and you have a great day. Bye.